Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Regulars, presented by Over a Couple of Drinks. We gotta stop that music before Disney sues us.
You can only use a little bit.
We're gonna do a little bit. Brought to you by Over a Couple of Drinks. I'm Bill. With me is my wonderful companions here on an epic galactic star travel journey bullshit. To my left, your right, is Chris Birch. Say hi, Chris Birch.
Hey, what up, Chris Birch?
And sleeping right below us is LB.
Hi. He's not asleep at all.
I got excited.
He awoke like the Force.
He awoke with the
Like
Force.
the Force.
If you haven't figured out from the title of this video, or the opening card, or the music, or the
box office records, or the fucking...
We're talking about Star Wars, okay? Hold on. Lights. Woo!
Woo!
And I'm drinking out of a turtle mug.
I'm drinking I'm Your Father's root beer.
I
Did there?
see what you did there. And Birch is
I
lame.
forgot to have a drink. I have snow caps, though.
That
so
works. That's movie theater, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about Star Wars here. We're gonna do a real quick spoiler-free portion right now, where we just think about what we said. So if you haven't seen it, you can listen to this part and you're okay, and then we'll go into the spoiler stuff. So without going into too much detail, Birch, thoughts on the film?
Well, I mean, if we're being just like a frank thing, I loved it. I thought it was. I mean, obviously, this movie had a lot to do. It had to establish a new universe, reacquaint us with the old universe, create a new story, catch us up on what's been going on, and make us excited for what's to come. And I thought it did all of that really well, almost surprisingly well. Like, I thought for sure this movie couldn't live up to expectations, but it did. I think it did. I've seen it twice now.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, and I enjoyed it even more the second time, which is something I don't think I could say for when I saw. If I didn't see any of the prequels twice, but even in my youthful, blind state of, oh, this looks cool, I still could tell like those movies weren't as enjoyable to me watching a second time, because you get. And one of my favorite things I've been doing over the past 3 or 4 days is just talking to people about what things mean, what little things they put in that you could catch to indicate something. There's a lot to talk about in this movie. There's a lot to love. It's not perfect.
No.
It's not perfect at all. There are some flaws. There's one big frustrating flaw that we'll talk about, I'm sure. But in general, I liked it. I really liked it a lot.
LB?
I'm going to buy this one the day it comes out.
Oh, yeah. LB, you just got back from seeing it the first
Yep.
time.
I just saw it like 5 days late, because that's how I do.
That's fine. You know what? We don't care about time schedules here.
My theater was still sold out, so there you go.
What spoiler-free thoughts on the film? Like a quick
I
recap review.
enjoyed it. I would say I loved it. It was fun to watch. It was great. It met my expectations, which is hard for movies to do because I'm a bastard. And I did think...
Welcome to our channel. We're bastards.
I did think...
We're all Jon Snow, motherfucker.
Basically.
Oh,
Are we dead? Are we not dead?
oh.
Fuck you guys. I'll go into this in more...
Oh, I didn't set it up right. Oh, well. I changed
What do you mean?
it. I tried to change the Jon Snow one, and it didn't work.
Oh,
So Jon
Anyway.
Snow shows up for a second.
gotcha. I did... Where was I? Oh, yeah. I'll go into more into this when we talk spoilers, but I would say the plot was a little too similar to specifically Star Wars, a.k.a. Episode 4,
I
I
New
New
Hope.
Hope.
Yep.
So-
But you liked it. Yeah?
But I liked it. It was fun.
Surprise, surprise, I thought it was great. This is the first time since probably the re-release that I saw Star Wars in theaters that felt like a Star Wars. Even with the stupid CGI special edition shit, nothing prequels on feels like Star Wars to me anymore. Just because it goes to this realm of fantastical too far, with like jumping over and backflips and superpower kind of bullshit. Even like, it doesn't matter how good the Clone Wars TV show was or the Rebels is, it still doesn't really feel like Star Wars to me anymore.
Yeah.
And this just dragged me right back to when I was very, very young, popping in Star Wars on the VHS and watching it and going, hey, those are the guys from the Muppet Show. Because that's the first time I actually saw Star Wars, was from something from the Muppets. And then watched the movie and then got my mind blown in half. And then watched Empire Strikes Back until my VHS almost broke.
Yep.
And yes, it's similar to, Star Wars. It's not perfect, but it's everything I needed out of this film, and therefore it's great.
Yep.
And that's my spoiler-free. If you haven't seen it, I understand you're probably a busy person. I'm not going to make fun of you, but go.
But you really are missing out if you haven't seen it yet. You're just doing yourself a disservice.
I really enjoy how much people are going to lengths not to spoil for people.
Yeah, well, I can't believe it hadn't been spoiled for me. I was completely surprised by every spoiler.
There's a level of it's a level of almost respect.
Respect, yeah.
That is happening on the internet. I mean, some people obviously are being assholes and finding used car websites and just posting in the comments the spoiler. But for the most part, on Facebook, I haven't seen a single instance of somebody posting something.
I mean, it's gonna get harder from here on out. So you're warned, but
and you really should see this movie without knowing what happens. You really should. You should see most movies like that, but this one especially. It's intended to be viewed for the first time as the first time.
Okay.
To give you an example of the spoiler thing, I saw this headline today. It said, "Suspect charged in Star Wars spoiler stabbing," and that's all I needed to know about the story. It's I know exactly how that story goes. I know why he did it.
Exactly what happened. I know. I can see the sentence too. He's going to be let off if he stabs a guy.
All right, and with that, we are going into the spoiler section. You have your chance now. Leave, please. We do not want to be those assholes. All right, hopping in.
Okay. Let's go down points. You think discuss certain
points, or I don't know. I didn't write any points down. I saw this.
Okay.
I saw this bad boy opening night IMAX.
Yeah,
okay.
I saw opening night. I haven't seen it in 3D. I don't
think 3D was worth it. Only
there's a couple moments I could tell would look cool in 3D, but
there's moments where everything got a little blurry because it was too much going on screen.
I watched it in 2D.
Yeah.
Let's get the main concerns out of the way right now. The new cast knocks
Love
it
them.
out of the park. They fucking rock. Okay, Daisy Ridley, I love her. She was fantastic. She owned every scene she was in. She was lovable. She was harsh. She was cocky. She was hilarious. She was everything rolled into one.
And she didn't have to spell out to us in her lines that she was a lonely person who didn't know where she belonged yet in the universe. We didn't need to be told. We saw in her first few scenes. I don't think there was more than 2 lines in her first few scenes.
I don't think she said a line for the first 10 minutes, and the first thing she did speak was, what was it, Hatties probably? I don't know.
Something
if that was
And she was saving BB-8.
Yeah.
I mean, you had that moment where she looks at the old lady who's doing the exact same thing that she is, and she's like, I could be doing this the rest of my life. And you get that, exactly what her thought process just is from the look on her face.
And you see a creature of habit as she starts marking on the wall of how many days she's been there, and the camera, I don't remember if it's a cut or if it pans back, and you just see an endless wall of ticks. There was a lot of love in certain scenes there as you see she's raiding a Star Destroyer. She's living out of an AT-AT. I mean, these are like little fan polls that you just kind of go, by the way, don't you love it?
She has the helmet, rebel helmet that she has, as kind of her own little. She puts that on when she wants to kind of escape from her world for a little bit. And you don't have to spell that out to us. No. We see that,
They did a really great job there. Who do you guys want to talk about next?
Let's go Finn.
Finn or Poe. I was going to pick either or.
We could kind of touch on both. I love both.
Let's go Poe because Poe had a smaller time, and then we'll go to Finn. So
Poe is my man.
That's what I was saying.
Poe is Oscar Isaacs is the most. I think he might be the most supremely likable actor I've ever seen. He's just someone I want to go hang out with him and have a beer with him. And he just you trust him in the movie. Like,
Which is,
I don't know. It's
which is really weird since the last thing I saw him in was Ex Machina,
Mhm.
where he's a total creeper douchebag.
Mhm.
And the other thing is the guy who plays the general. Someone get on IMDb and give me the names list of stuff. The general.
that's
guy.
Dom Hall Gleason.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he's also in it. So I half expected the Ex Machina like robot chick to actually show up in this film. Be like,
Mhm.
it's a reunion.
Wow.
But yeah, okay. His first scene was okay. He's over cocky. Blah blah blah. It's not until he meets Kylo Ren that I actually loved him.
Oh my God! When he gets put down in front of him, he goes, "So who
All right.
talks first?
Who
Talk
talks
first?
You first.
I talk 1st
Mhm.
How do we do this? I can't really understand you with that thing.
He's
he
Spider-Man.
doesn't. He doesn't. Yeah.
He's
yeah,
Spider-Man
actually.
in the Star Wars
Mhm.
universe because he's making
it's
fun
like
of a guy who could murder him 1,200 different ways.
and
And
he's
it's like,
definitely he's the new, if you will, he's the new Han Solo character. But it's more than that. He's not just trying to be what Harrison Ford was back in the 70s. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
My biggest complaint next to the plot was that I didn't get enough Poe.
I want more Poe.
well,
I
Exactly.
better have Poe in this next movie.
he was supposed to die.
Yeah.
They were supposed to kill him off.
And then J.J. Abrams realized
Yeah,
this guy's great.
yeah. He was supposed
This
to be
guy's
dead.
great.
He was supposed to be dead when he
This
crash
character's
lands.
great.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'll be right back. You guys keep talking and pick me up on what I missed, and I will interject my certain things because I do have a lot to say about Finn, and I have a lot to say about Kylo Ren.
Oh, I have a lot to-
Huge. Okay, so keep going. I'll be right back.
I keep
So
talking
I'm-
about Poe.
Poe? Yeah, I'll talk
Well,
about
Poe-
Poe all day long. I could talk if they gave me a Poe spinoff. Fuck the Han Solo spinoff. I want a Poe spinoff. I want to see where this guy came from.
I just he needed a bigger part. I think part of the problem was, we'll get more of this later. Han Solo, I think, played too big of a role in the movie that could have been filled by Poe.
Mhm.
So
And after seeing what happens to Han, it's like it's hard. It's easy to see why they did that.
yeah,
But even so, like I hope Poe takes that spot in the next movie and
definitely.
beyond. Like, yeah, I could watch an entire movie of him. Let me see. Oh, well, I guess we talk about Finn now. This was what I was going to say. Poe's relationship with BB-8
Mm.
was wonderful. Bill, would you like to comment on that?
I
The
don't know.
relationship between Poe and BB-8?
Was great for how little we got it. We got that they've been along for a while, if not like original droid and owner.
You see when BB-8 like sees that Poe's still alive and he just knocks people out of the way to get to him at the end. I visibly went like, oh.
Are we talking about BB-8 now, or are you still talking about Poe?
Poe. We've been talking about Poe this whole time. I was just saying, fuck the Han Solo spinoff. I want a Poe spinoff.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Well, I already have the only 3 Han Solo books you ever need. Pick up. What are they called? Paradise Snare, Hutt's Gambit, and Rebel Dawn.
Yep.
Those are your prequels. Fuck you. Give me a Poe. Rogue One better just be Poe.
I want more Poe. I don't even care that if he was not even born then. I want Poe in that movie.
No.
Finn?
Finn. Okay. What's his actual number? FN.
FN 2187.
Okay. Finn is great. He really is.
To a point.
To a point. The more you find out about him, the less cool he is.
Mhm.
He becomes more of a butt of a joke than anything else. Because real quickly we find out that not only are these stormtroopers, but they're also brainwashed and conditioned to a degree from birth, and he's one of them. And I'm thinking, oh, sweet, it's literally like Soldier, starring Kurt Russell, with stormtroopers. He doesn't know who he is, and that's all he knows. And like the opening scene is him on another mission, and something knocks him out of his brainwashing, and he can't do it anymore. This is great. No, that was his first mission out.
Yeah.
What?
He's a sanitation worker.
I would have loved. Yeah, I didn't like that. I would have loved to see a stormtrooper grappling with the fact that he has killed people,
Yes.
that he has done terrible things, and now he's he's seeing the other side of it. He's seeing the people that get affected by that kind of thing, and he realizes, oh my God, I was a terrorist.
Yeah. No, I wanted that. And with him being this plucky character to kind of be like, I don't know what my personality is too. I'm just grabbing onto emotions.
And you know what I noticed when I really noticed that could have helped is the scene when he finally admitted to Rey that he was not in the Resistance, and his story, all he literally had to say was he could have told her the truth from the beginning. It wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have made her like dislike him. He's literally like, oh yeah, I was First Order, and I realized that they were all wrong, so I left. And it's like you're expecting her to be all like upset, like you lied to me. I'm like, what is she got to be upset about? If he had killed a lot of people, maybe that would have been a more interesting conflict between the two of them. Which, by the way, I really hope doesn't evolve into a romantic relationship, because I would love to see just two companions in a different way. I don't want them to try to recreate the Han and Leia thing. I don't want it. I just don't. I mean, if it's done well, I just feel like I don't know. I don't want it to be all about. I think literally partly is because the prequels was all about this romance, this stupid ass romance that I didn't give a shit about, and I don't want that to happen again. But if it were to go that direction, I would probably like it more, just because I like these actors so much more, and they've already got so much great chemistry.
What I really liked about Finn, I don't know the actor's name. I'm really bad at actors' names at first.
John Boyega. Yeah.
How honest he is when he says things.
Hmm?
It's great. When he has to start lying, he's like the world's worst liar.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yes, I am Resistance.
This is what we look like.
This is what we wear. Of course. Yes. Mm-hmm. I'm very important. Very important.
He goes and he pulls that whole like the big deal thing with Han, and he's like, I'm a big deal, so there's like a target on my back and shit, and Han's just like, fuck off, man. Like,
LB, you got anything to say on Finn before we move to the next person?
I think like I said, after a certain point, pretty much once Rey gets captured, he stops being. I don't know. I don't want to say he's a hero. Yeah, which is fine. He doesn't have to be the hero, but it's like because he is still a hero.
Yeah.
But like you said, he becomes the butt of the joke. It's like, oh, I'm sanitation worker.
And it's so interesting to me. I think Finn kind of wrote on the fact that it's interesting to see a stormtrooper go rogue. And that was kind of it. I hope they go different places with him. I want to see where he goes, because it's like he ends in the movie in such an interesting way. He picks up a lightsaber, does pretty okay fighting with Kylo, and then gets his ass kicked and is like nearly dead.
We'll get to that when we'll get to that, because I have a different opinion on that.
We'll get to that when we talk about Kylo. You mean?
We'll get to that probably later when we get into points. I'm probably not going to talk about it in Kylo, because there's so much about Kylo Ren that I love.
So he is possibly one of the most interesting characters in the series.
Keep going about Finn, because we're not going to go to the Kylo right away.
All right. Well, we might talk about this when we talk about the plot, but I want to talk about how the trailers set up Finn as being the hero, basically. He's got the lightsaber. He's going to take on Kylo Ren. He's this cool. Maybe he's a stormtrooper that becomes a Jedi. How cool would that be? And the movie, it pulls a fast one. And he's like, no, he gets his ass handed to him
multiple times.
Doesn't have the force.
He can't really fight. He's able to hold his own for a little while, and then he goes down.
Right.
So
in one hand, I like how they did that. I like how they pulled the fast one on you. But on the other, I was really excited to see this fallen stormtrooper who has the Force, or can use the Force. Well, I was excited for that storyline.
I said in like a previous podcast that there was either a fan fiction or a lost expanded universe about a stormtrooper who picked up old Ben's lightsaber and started following the Force. But it wasn't that. So, whatever. I mean, I was a little disappointed, but I was also so happy that everything we thought we knew about this movie was thrown out the window.
Yes. Which is what I was hoping would happen, and then it did in the best way.
Let's talk about my favorite droid in the universe.
BB-8, man. How did you take R2-D2's crown as the best droid in this series?
Finally a droid I don't hate. Because even R2 got annoying. And as soon as
3PO was annoying from the moment he stepped forward.
As soon as 3PO showed up in this, I wanted to fucking rage quit.
Like, I realized, I was like, oh, C-3PO is still a character. He hasn't gotten blown up or something.
Could we decommission him, please?
He's lost.
He was the one. It's like, why did R2 have to be the one in low power mode?
Yeah, he was literally around. Yeah, right. 3PO was around to translate for R2. That's why he exists. Now we don't need that. We have Rey, who can apparently understand beeps.
Well,
So
Luke Skywalker,
Luke understood beeps. He understood
for a
beeps.
while.
all right, Luke did.
Yeah. But BB-8, I am amazed at how much personality he had with being a ball with a robot head on it.
He was a soccer ball. Yeah.
Everything he did, you could see the thought process behind the little droid, especially when he looked to one person and looked to another and looked again, and you're like, ha ha ha. Or like the whole lying to Rey scene where he gives the thumbs up with his lighter, or even
Oh my God, my theater lost it both
yeah.
times.
or
Both times. I was with them.
or when he finds out when he thinks Poe's dead,
Hmm.
like just utter defeat. You're just like, I feel so bad for
He's
the
the most.
soccer ball.
I don't know how he's so expressive. He doesn't have any facial features. He just has little beeps, and the way his head moves, like when it's like lowered like that, you're just like, your heart sinks with it.
They basically did what Wally did without Wally's eyebrows.
Yeah, no, that's the best way to put it. He's
Or whatever
really
it is.
a better Wally. Better Wally.
A better Wally.
Who knew we had to go to
built a
Disney to
better
get
Wally?
better robots?
If BB-8 dies, I'll fucking riot in any movie. If he gets like shot up, I will riot the fuck out of these
He
movies.
just gets kicked
They're
because
gonna
he's a soccer ball.
they're gonna pull a
Because-
Return of the Jedi where he gets shot at one time and you think he's gone.
I'll be
Mhm.
fucking
Okay.
mad. I'll be on the edge of my damn seat the rest of the time. Especially if like he's in like Poe's X-wing. I'll be like,
Oh,
you take out
God.
both of these characters, I will fucking kill you. Don't you hurt Poe.
I will walk out even though I love every minute.
Even though I love
of
every
you
minute of it,
bastards.
and I will buy the DVD and Blu-ray.
But I will stop watching at this point every time. I will never know how this ends because you killed them.
You want to talk about?
Are we going to Kylo?
Let's go to Kylo.
We're gonna be talking about Kylo for like 20 minutes.
Okay, so we're going to Ben Solo. Oh, spoilers.
So. Yeah, we won't go, like a lot. Like
The movie kind of spoils it for you.
Yeah, okay, this is one of my biggest gripes, and we'll get into more of it, is the one thing I don't like about Kylo Ren is the writing around him in the first 4 scenes he's in. Because the first scene he's in, I knew you before you went by Kylo Ren. The next
And he goes
scene,
like, "Your family you cannot deny your family."
And I'm
Well,
like-
he's related to somebody.
I'm like, oh god, that's enough exposition. And then the next scene, the general's with him, and he's like, watch it, Ren. Make sure your past doesn't get involved. And then the next scene, he's talking to Vader's mask skull, which was a good scene, except for he goes, "Help me, grandfather." And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. And then the next scene, he's with Snoke, and he goes, "Your father's with them." Han
That actually came
Solo."
before the Vader helmet thing.
It's-
Which made the Vader helmet reveal kind of stupid.
like, we're
I
smarter, we're
kind-
smarter than this, you
I
idiots.
kind of liked that they weren't trying to make it into a "I am your father" moment. Like they could have easily saved it till the bridge scene, and I'm so glad they didn't, because that would have been dumb. But
It would have
I
been way
think-
dumb.
I just think they could have left out the Snoke just pointing out your father Han Solo. Like, oh, okay. Like, I think they could have gone with the grandfather moment, and then Han talking to Leia about our son,
Yeah,
and then
our
having
boy
the
was there.
reveal.
because then we would have all been like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah,
Because when
exactly.
if we just seen him say grandfather, then there's a couple options there.
Yeah.
Right.
He could be Luke's kid. He could be Leia's kid.
And it's like they're not trying to hold on to it, which they weren't. He wasn't the big secret of this film. Rey's parentage is.
And
And
still
it's-
not found out.
And and it's still not found out. And I'm really glad it isn't, because it's leaving a lot of people to wonder. And we'll go over our theories towards the end of this this podcast. And we'll go over a lot of theories that are buzzing around. But just the writing around him was so meh that I kind of was like almost turned off to him.
At least in the first half.
In the first half, not to mention, like, he's a very interesting character that you do not grasp right away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And-
He comes across as trying
Trying too hard
as
at times.
almost
Trying to be
exactly,
Darth Vader.
which is also what's brilliant about it. But we'll get to that.
Because there is a point, and I think it's his first freak-out moment, where you go, oh my god. And he has this moment where it's like the classic, peon comes up to report failure, expecting to get force choked to death, and he turns on his lightsaber, which is still fucking gorgeous. The crossguard, the unstable light crystal, and it looks like pure rage. and it works so well for like the foil of him, and he just melts a fucking like command control
And he just
wall,
keeps hitting it.
and he just keeps hitting it, and you go, oh my god, this is the Anakin Skywalker we were supposed to get in the prequels.
Mm-hmm.
This little whiny bitch, but he's scary.
He's scary because he's unpredictable.
He's terrifying.
And we don't. I mean, he is so human, and that's what I love about him. Is he is so human. I can only imagine. He's the son of Han Solo and Leia Organa. The guy has got some, with that kind of a birth, you've got some connotations attached to you right out the womb. Like, he came out, and it's all of a sudden like Luke is just grabbing him like, you're going to be a Jedi. And he's got this legacy behind him.
Yeah.
Like, your grandfather is Darth Vader. Your father is Han Solo, all this other shit. You're connected to the rebellion and to the Empire. And I'm going to make you a Jedi. He didn't want any of that, I don't think. I mean, we don't really know yet. But I can imagine that he's been like forced into, and then Snoke got a hold of him. Like, this guy has been forced into just like both sides. He's been like being literally, like, he even says, I'm being torn apart. He says that to Han on the bridge. And I don't think that's any kind of bullshit. I think he's saying that for real. Like, he's actually being torn apart by the light and dark.
And the scene with him talking to Vader's skull mask, I will still call it a skull mask because I don't think the skull's in there.
Looks like a skull.
It looks like a skull. He says, I need your way back to the dark side because I can still feel the light pulling on me. And I actually believed him there, even though it was like the first chunk where I still didn't know what the hell was going on. I was like, this is a very interesting take on a dark side character, because all we've ever seen is villain, 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 villain. And then towards the end of Return, you kind of get the redemption of Vader, and you kind of
exactly
go, oh, okay, but now we're seeing it from the opposite side of, I can feel the good, but I don't want it.
I love that the light side is the tempting one this time, instead of dark always tempting people to evil. This time he feels the temptation of the light, and I love that he will never be Darth Vader, and he wants to be so bad, and he has the potential. He's got some powers Vader never had.
Oh yeah, it's funny, he wants to be Vader, but I've never seen Vader stop a blaster bolt in midair,
or be able to literally pull information out of someone's brain.
Oh, Vader did it to a degree with like
kind of
certain parts of Return of the Jedi when he goes, "Your sister," like
that, yeah.
But not, it
was less violent.
Not to the degree of Kylo Ren. And man, that's the one line he has when he's talking to Rey and he's interrogating her, and he goes, "You want Han Solo to be your dad? You'll be disappointed." And I'm like, there's so much pain and venom in those words. He's a treat. I could just eat him up.
Yeah, and I can't wait that I'm so glad we didn't get much of him, and even his backstory was in a throwaway line from Han Solo. Oh yeah, Luke tried to train him, and then he overthrew everything, and then he killed a lot of people, and now he's bad. Like, they didn't need to go over and completely explain it, because it's like, well, first of all, I mean, that's how Han probably just sees it, as simple as that. He has to. He can't be thinking, well, maybe he's justified in flipping his shit because of his life.
LB, you're quiet. Kylo Ren, go.
I'm always quiet.
I know, and it's my job to make you talk.
I liked him, obviously. What I found most interesting was the whole Darth Vader, trying to be Darth Vader thing. I don't think it was ever really made clear why he wanted so much to be like Darth Vader. My wife was telling me this interesting fan theory, is that Kylo Ren is trying to overthrow the Sith, and the only way he can do that is by becoming one and destroying them from within. So
I hope that's not it.
Well, just listen. So when he's talking about the light side pulling him and being torn apart, the idea being that he's tempted to just obviously stop being a Sith, be a light side, whatever, but he knows he has to go down this path to finish his mission, and that includes killing his own father to complete the
spoilers. Jesus Christ, Han Solo dies.
We already told people we're going to get to the spoilers. So that is the act he needs to do. So when he says to Han Solo says, "What can I do to help you? I'll do anything." that's what he needs him to do, is to
Die.
let Kylo kill him
Yeah.
so that he can continue on his mission.
I just read that, and it makes a lot of sense, but I don't like it.
Right.
I'd rather have this be another huge arc of redemption, with Kylo either living at the end and being redeemed, or dying and being redeemed, or maybe just dying and being an evil bastard. I don't
Could be.
care.
At this
I
point,
did like that every time he walks, these pounding footsteps, like he's just storming around angry, like
yeah,
your
and
angry
I love
older
that
brother or
he's
something. Just
puffing his chest so much because he wants to. I love that when he takes his mask off for the first time, there's this big like, what's he gonna look like? And
He's
I
just
felt
a dude.
I felt myself thinking that too, and I was like, what the hell am I thinking that for? It's Adam Driver. He just looks like Adam Driver. And he takes it off, and it's Adam Driver, and he's just a guy. And there was almost like a laugh in my theater the first night. They were just like, oh, it's just a guy, and that's exactly perfect because he is just a guy. There's nothing intimidating or frightening about him. He's just a guy, and he wants to make himself look so much bigger and more frightening than he is. And
No, yeah, I thought you were done. Sorry.
yeah, and just like Snoke, who decides he wants to look 25 feet tall.
who the fuck is Snoke?
We don't know. Nobody knows.
Emperor clone? Like, what the hell?
I think it's Darth Plagueis, but it's just
Okay, well, I don't know if we want to go into these or we want to wait till theories, because there's a bunch of theories about who Snoke is.
well, yeah. I mean, we could theorize
There's
forever.
There's
about
not much about Snoke, so I was just going to hold them off till theories.
that. That's
Okay?
fine.
Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
I was going to say, I wish we would have gotten more between Ren and, someone give me his name, the general.
General Hux.
Hux. Ren and Hux, because their relationship is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's if Vader and Tarkin were on the same page in A New Hope, but these guys, they weren't. But in this one, they are, and it's clearly like Ren being like this religious kind of following.
I
and
have got
having,
to cut out for a little bit. I'll be back. Catch me up.
Yeah, the sense of a religious. I have the Force. I'm a knight of Ren. I should be in charge, but I'm really not. And Hux being from a strict military standpoint, and those two sides feuding, I really liked when we got those scenes. I just wanted more of them, personally. I don't know how you felt, LB.
What I thought was odd about Hux is that he was more or less the spokesfigure for the First Order. He's the one up there at the podium, talking to the troops, saying this is what we're doing, et cetera, et cetera. And the Kylo Ren is definitely more of the in-the-background character, doing things more hidden and unseen. And I guess I always felt like in Darth Vader's time, Darth Vader was, again, the same role, but more visible.
Yeah, like he was, like Kylo Ren's more of like a Black Ops kind of person who just gets things done, and Vader was always the guy who gets things done and controlled the troops. I can see that, but I
well, of course, who was the I can't remember her name, but she plays Brienne of Tarth in Game of Thrones.
Captain
she plays
Phasma.
Yeah, Captain Phasma.
Okay, well, let's get into her real quick, just because a lot of people are like, she didn't do anything, and like people are calling her the new series Boba Fett because she looks really cool but doesn't do anything. I honestly think she wasn't supposed to be a big character, but when everybody saw her, they loved her, and they couldn't do anything to change this one. So they did say she's back in 8, and she will have a bigger part, which is good because she looked cool, but that she didn't do anything. And I always thought she was like the person who, she was the commander of the troops, and was like, she may have been brainwashed as well, but was in charge of the troops. And then Hux was in charge of her, who was in charge of all military operations, including Starkiller Base. And then Kylo Ren being a part of the Knights of Ren, which we don't know anything about, which I like and also dislike because I want more. I want more, which is really good for a first of 3. They set up a lot of things of clawing. You want more information out of this, and not in the dumb way that people are exploding on the internet about. Can we talk about how stupid that is? Like, how did the First Order become so strong? Why is the Resistance not part of the Republic? Seriously here? if you want to look at the subtext here, the First Order is ISIS in the real world. You think the Imperial information just went bye-bye when the Empire blew up? No, these are literally the Nazis who went to Argentina, and imagine if the Nazis decide to grow up again, they still have all the information, they can build a new army. And this has been 29 years since the fall of Jakku, which is 30 years since Endor.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I guess there's books or graphic novels or something that explain.
There's one book that bridges the gap right now because they threw everything out the window.
So basically, the Resistance, there's the Republic, there's the First Order, and there's the Resistance. They're all three separate things. The Resistance
Republic wanted to demilitarize after Endor,
right,
or after Jakku. And that's what I wanted to say. Continue, Albie.
Right. So basically, Princess Leia was like, "Hey, the Empire's trying to rebuild itself. Let's fight back." And the Republic's like, "No, we don't really want to."
Though I have a feeling that maybe the Republic's like, sweep a couple of credits their way. You
Yeah.
know? I have to imagine they do that from time to time, but they don't recognize them.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
But the movie does at least make clear from the First Order's perspective is that the Republic is, that they are supporting the Resistance financially at least.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, which we don't get, and I'm kind of glad we stay out of politics, because let's face it, 3 movies of politics that were really bad space politics. So, I mean, as much as people complain about it, I'm glad we didn't get it. I thought it was pretty straightforward, which was good, and people getting caught up on that makes me lose my faith in humanity. I don't know how you feel about that. When people ask, like, dumb questions, like, well, come on, people.
The one thing I think that got to me, we'll get into it later when we talk more about the movie's flaws.
Do you want to jump into that now, or do you want to, like, because I think we're pretty much done with characters.
Oh, are we? Han Solo. Let's talk about Han Solo.
There's nothing new about Han Solo.
Exactly. He's
exactly the same. And I feel like you didn't like him so much. I don't feel like he took over the movie, especially when you find out that he's dead at the end of it, that this was a good goodbye.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember if you were, or as Birch was saying this, but something along the lines of, I was not expecting Han Solo to have as big of a role in the movie, but once the ending, his death came about, it made sense why they gave him a bigger role, to give him a goodbye.
Which makes me scared, because they just reported that Mark Hamill will have a bigger part like Harrison Ford in Episode 8. Like, no! I knew as soon as Harrison Ford signed on, Han Solo was dying. So I knew way back when, because for the people who don't know, Harrison Ford wanted out at Return of the Jedi. He didn't want to come back from that. He wanted Han Solo to die there. And
at the end of Episode 5, didn't he want him dead?
Yeah, he wanted him dead, which is why they froze him on carbonite, in case they couldn't get him back. They could return him at a later date. And it clearly tells, because you can go, well, what do you mean? Han Solo doesn't do a goddamn thing in Return of the Jedi, really, that anybody else could have done.
Mm-hmm.
Really. He doesn't do anything. So for him to return, have a big part, and Harrison Ford actually having fun, and not, like, walking through the scenes like he did in Indiana Jones 5. He wasn't a huge mushmouth like Carrie Fisher. He was actually there to have fun, and every line he had was pretty gold. From kicking BB-8 and going, get out of the way, ball. Or, like, his opening scene with Finn and Rey, and they're, like, literally fanboying over him, going, Han Solo? I heard he was a general. What the hell are you talking about? He was an epic smuggler. And he's like, oh, Jesus. And he kept walking, and he was like, this is the Millennium Falcon that did the Kessel Run in 14 parsecs. 12! It was just, he was having fun, and I was okay with it. And then Carrie Fisher showed up and ruined everything.
How did Carrie Fisher ruin everything?
Oh, what are you doing? She was a mushmouth. She was terrible.
Yeah.
And we lost Birch.
No, you're right. She was, it's hard to understand her sometimes.
She was real rough. I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to keep trying to add him to call until he comes back?
Yeah.
Or do we want to take a quick break?
Let's take a quick break.
Let's take a quick break, because my screen's fucked up. Back from a quick break. It didn't happen for your end. Don't worry about it. I'll make it all look good. But Birch's Is Birch. His video cut out and it screwed up our format. I was gonna put up with that shit. So we're talking about negatives now, because this film is not perfect. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
LB, you hit the biggest concern. Go.
The plot was my biggest concern. I'm gonna read this text I sent Bill earlier. I'm gonna go over a plot of a movie, and you tell me what movie this plot is. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, person stuck in a shitty life on a desert planet meets up with a droid carrying some important information. They leave the planet with questionable characters in the Millennium Falcon. The female lead gets captured. The male lead goes with Han Solo and Chewbacca to rescue her on the giant planet-destroying structure. The mentor character dies, everyone else escapes, and the big structure blows up.
Return of the Jedi.
I thought that was Attack of the Clones, personally.
Star Wars Episode 4.
Episode 4, The Force Awakens.
And yeah. So, my main problem with the movie, thus, is that it is basically Episode 4 again, plot-wise.
Yeah.
With some added bits mixed in.
Yes.
Which Lucas would say is intentional, and he would say it's all rhythmic, it all repeats itself. To which I would say, shut the fuck up.
It's a little too close.
I would, as I said, it was a safe bet, because I do think a lot of people were scared about this because of the prequels. I mean, a lot of people are going, "Oh God, what if it's another Phantom Menace?" You know, no one will, say it now because it's good. But even though it made $1 bazillion, it's more of people are like, "Well, what happens if it is another Phantom Menace?" So I think it was a safe bet for them to do that. I think it does hinder it at times, because though Starkiller Base felt tacked on.
Mm-hmm.
That to me was the worst part, was Starkiller Base. I didn't want another Death Star.
Well, I thought it was okay until you found out it actually 8 stars, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. But then someone was like, well, why do you like this and hate Predators? Because my biggest beef about Predators is that it's literally Predator 1, ripped and copied and paste. And I think my point is that the characters are different, though it hits key plot points. There's enough different going on inside of it, and a lot more. It's a better fucking movie. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
It's a good movie instead of shit that was Predators.
Mm-hmm.
You notice how every time we do one of these, I have to bring it back to Alien or Predator. I'm a genius.
You do it on purpose, really.
I really do.
Yeah.
I work them in there, but that was a legit. Someone said, "So Predators," and I'm like, not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
Because yes, it does hit the same plot points that A New Hope has, but every character is put all the other characters from the original Star Wars in there and thrown into a blender, so you never know who's who. And not to mention, though Rey gets captured, she breaks herself out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's like the epitome of the strong female lead. She don't give no shit.
That was Daniel Craig, by the way.
Yep, I was about to say,
that Stormtrooper.
Danny Craig was
Daniel Craig.
a Stormtrooper that got brainwashed.
Really?
Yep.
I did not know that.
Yep.
You can hear it. He does his.
You can kind of hear, when you know it's him. If you listen, you're like, yeah, that's him.
Yep.
Oh, I wish I knew that before I watched. I didn't know he's in the. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. He is the Stormtrooper, and he's using his American accent. But there's one line where I think it's "scavenger scum."
I'll tighten those restraints. The way he says it.
And I'm like, Danny Craig.
Danny Craig, is that you?
What are you doing here?
What are you doing in this movie? You fuck. What are you doing?
I think that's I already went over some of my negatives about the lines, the dialogue could have been tighter. Finn could have been, developed more. Even though being funny, he could have been developed more. Carrie Fisher, I'm sorry, she was terrible.
She hasn't gotten to act much since 1983.
Is that Blues Brothers?
What was that? No, that was Jedi. Jedi was 83. What was Blues Brothers? That was after that.
I don't know.
That. She hasn't even done voice work, obviously.
She's done a few things, a few cameos.
Harrison
she was
Ford.
in the other Star Wars Episode 7, Fanboys.
Oh yeah, she was. Harrison Ford looked old as shit.
Yeah.
He looks like he's melting.
But he's
Like-
like almost 80.
Yeah, which is why another reason why I'm really glad they killed him. First, did we already talk about
Yeah, he's
Han
dead.
dying?
He's dead.
Yeah. I walked into the movie thinking he's probably gonna die. We're gonna watch Han Solo die tonight. And then as soon as he walked on the bridge, I thought, yep, Han Solo gonna die tonight.
Yeah.
I had myself convinced that Chewbacca was dying,
Yeah.
so I was wrong.
Other than that, I
Clearly.
can nitpick this movie, and I don't want to, because
Did you
like
talk about Mark
Ooh,
Hamill?
let me.
we haven't talked about Mark Hamill yet.
I think this was appropriate for him to not have a giant part.
yes.
Yeah.
Admiral Akbar's head didn't look good. Again, it amazes me that in '83 they can make it look perfect, and now in 2015
It
they
looks
can't.
like they put like a Muppet up on the thing, and he was like, "Rawr, rawr, rawr, rawr."
Again, because I have to harken back to it. It's like it amazes me that in 1987 was the last time we actually had a good Predator without his mask on. Everyone after that looks like shit. Like I don't know what went wrong. And that's it. I thought some of the creature designs were pretty lazy.
Yeah, a little too reminiscent. Another thing that was a little too reminiscent of A New Hope. Somewhere either just forgettable or just kind of like very similar to that.
Or they felt like they took him out of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Simon Pegg's character kind of felt a little hitchhiker-y.
Yeah.
Simon Pegg was in this movie.
He was.
Oh yeah.
He was the
Simon Pegg
ration
was
stroll.
the junkyard guy.
Yeah, he was the
Okay.
ration stroll.
I like that. Actually, I thought he seemed too Doctor Who.
Okay, I could see Doctor Who, but
Yeah.
like just after seeing the giant hippo like thing that Finn was messing with, I was like, that's a little. I mean that was really cool, but that was a little hitchhikers-y. And then again, I looked at him and went, "You're a bit hitchhiker-y." But I'm glad that most of the shit was practical. A lot of shit was practical.
I still liked that, and it wasn't like obviously there was CGI because this is 2015, and movies with this kind of thing are going to have CGI in them. But it looked clean to me.
Yeah.
It didn't look distracting. It didn't look like it was bullshit shoved in the screen.
Prequel.
Except
cool.
for the only character, whoever that character is, the bartender woman.
Maz
Kanata.
Kanata.
Maz.
Maz Kanata.
Yeah.
Well,
That whole, I was like, really?
well, they had to
She's
cut,
the new Yoda.
they had to
Yeah.
cut a lot of her down because the actress wasn't comfortable with the motion capture.
Mhm.
But even her design was lazy. She was just,
Yeah.
yeah.
She looked too
They
much like a
built up
cartoon
that character a whole lot. They were like Lupita Nyong'o, who won an Oscar, is going to be playing this character who's going to be like a little bit of a guidance, and they were like she's going to be motion capture, and I was like, oh, what's the design going to be? And then I saw it, and I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
got like these sunken in eye things.
It's Edna Mode from Incredibles.
Yeah. Like, what? I don't know. I don't think they needed to do motion capture for her. They should have just had the actress do it. Maybe put her in some prosthetics to look different. It just, Too much of the background stuff looked too similar. That's all.
Can we talk about Starkiller Base?
Tack
Again.
on.
Right, and here's a good example of that. So in A New Hope, or as Bill likes to call it, Star Wars,
It's Star Wars.
the
I got the movie over there. It says
The-
Star Wars.
I'll tell you what's on the
movie-
cover. I'll tell you what's in the crawl.
I'll tell you what's on the crawl. It says Star Wars. Time
movie
of
starts
Rebellion.
with R2-D2 getting the plans to the Death Star, right? So the whole idea is the Rebellion wants these plans so they can analyze them and find a weak spot into the Death Star and take it out. That's the whole idea. They get it. It works. In this movie, there are no plans to this battle station, this fully operational battle station. It's just they.
We're gonna
they're like,
shoot
"Oh,
at it a
man.
lot.
Oh man, we need to find out how to destroy this. And the one guy's like, it should have a thing. And they're like, you know what? It does have a thing. Let's get that thing. They postulate their way to victory.
But you want to know why it's okay? Because
Why
they
is it
make
okay?
fun of themselves.
They make fun of themselves.
Han Solo literally says,
There's always
all
a way to
right,
play
let's blow it
things
up. There's a way to blow them up. Let's figure it out. And I think
And if he hadn't done that, I wouldn't have been as okay with it.
it would have been better if they explained it a little differently. Where Finn's like, well, they have these cooling cores all across the core. If we hit one of those, it should like cause the internal combustion of the sun being stored up to rip the planet to shreds. Instead of let's blow that one up. Instead of there's the one. No, there's a couple of these because this shit's in. Because I mean, when it comes to blowing it up, it was an incredibly hard ordeal. It wasn't like shooting a couple of torpedoes down an exhaust pipe or
It
flying.
wasn't like hitting womp rats.
Yeah, and it wasn't like flying into there and shooting the core. No, it was actually, difficult tactical battle decision to come in, do a bombing raid. It didn't work. A ground team has to do something else. I mean, it was very different from that standpoint. So I think if they would have presented it better, we wouldn't have called so much bullshit, personally.
But then this oscillator structure just happened to be the place where they also were keeping Ray captive, and also where this the captain
Obi,
Phasma or whatever was
Obi.
stationed.
They did leave one section and walked across the snow to the other section.
Did they?
Yeah, they did. Because they're escaping.
So this whole planet, they just
This
have
is
to
Star
like next
Wars.
to
Fucking,
Star
you're gonna complain about that? You gotta complain about Finn like walking less than a day to find settlement on Jakku to find Rey, or how about the fact that
Han Solo
my
found her
God,
ship as soon as it took off from
Yeah.
the planet.
you're gonna complain about that? I mean, you have to.
Okay.
It's a fantasy. It's a fantasy. This isn't your Star Trek.
This
Speaking of
isn't
which,
your Star Trek.
This
Ow,
is-
Bill.
This
Well,
isn't
Star Trek has problems like you wouldn't believe.
Speaking of which, we'll get to that trailer next year.
Ooh.
We'll get to a bunch of trailers next year. We're kind of taking this holiday season at a
You
chill.
want to know something funny? Before Star Wars, I saw the trailer again for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, and I thought, that doesn't look entirely awful.
Doesn't. I watched it again.
I was waiting for us to review it because I was going to actually have you guys tear it a new asshole and go, I don't hate it.
I don't think anyone really hates it. I did for the first time I watched it because the bad taste is still in my mouth. But
But
I
it
rewatched
looks
it again and I thought,
It's so ridiculous, it might be good.
this might be
Yeah.
fun.
Exactly.
I'm
Anyway, Star
not
Wars.
going to give it my money because I learned that the first time, but I might rent it.
I'm just saying we'll get to that Destructs because we have a bunch of them stockpiled for next year. Okay, we got one other thing we're doing this year maybe or next year, I don't know which, and then I'll get into a schedule after we do all this. So can we talk about No More Negatives and talk about that amazing fight scene at the end?
I loved it.
It's pretty good.
No, LB, it was great because it actually had emotion in fighting.
Yes.
It
It wasn't just fancy choreography. It was raw emotion played out in a lightsaber battle.
because the first step was was Finn going, "Well, come and take it. I'm gonna get my ass kicked," and Kylo Ren toying with him, like cat and mouse game. It was gross. It was painful to watch, and then he just gets sliced up to no end. And then Rey shows up, and Rey doesn't have much fighting in a sword, and you see her parry and run away, as anybody would do. And then when she taps into the Force because she has that power, and I was okay with that, out of nowhere taps that power because
She's got raw potential.
she's got raw potential. It kind of gets awakened when Ren is trying to, probe her mind. She gets into that snap, which I really like that she can tap into it and doesn't know what's going on. When she taps into it, it becomes this weird fight of Kylo Ren not knowing if he can win anymore.
She's Avatar Ray.
Yeah, no, that is it.
Praise the Avatar.
And is it the Fire Nation?
The last Force bender.
Oh, Kylo Ren is totally a firebender.
He's totally Kylo Ren. I was actually worried because the way it was shot, she cut his head off.
I thought that she did for a second. I thought you did not.
Really?
There's no way you killed him.
I was like,
There's no
did
way
they-
you just
did they-
killed him.
Did they Darth Maul us? Did they just
She obviously raged out on him, but yeah.
Yeah, but no, I thought that she cut his head off because it looked like it the way he fell.
Then he got up and there's that scar.
Up
And
there.
I will say, lightsabers don't seem quite as destructive anymore. Because if anyone in the prequels had taken a lightsaber to the face,
Well,
their face would be cut off.
again, if you look back at the original series, in Empire Strikes Back, Luke hits Vader in the arm before Vader takes his hand off.
Yeah, it doesn't cut it off.
No, they do. I mean, if you're fighting with like a rapier and you don't really know what you're doing, I mean, this is probably the first time any of them actually fought somebody with a lightsaber. You're not gonna go in for a kill. You're gonna go, Jesus Christ, okay, let's keep moving. Even Kylo Ren to that degree, but he was playing with
Question.
his meat.
Yeah.
Did anyone lose a hand to a lightsaber in this movie?
Nope.
Negative.
Nope.
It's better than the prequels.
Which
but
means
everyone was
this
losing a
and
hand.
Episode 1 are the only ones. when someone doesn't lose a hand.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yep.
Well, the droids lost hands.
In episode 1? Maybe.
Droids.
Droids?
Droids. Droids. Were looking
3PO
for-
had a red arm for no reason.
Oh, there you go. That
There
was
we
your
go, we're
missing
good.
arm, I guess.
We're good. We count it. We'll count it. I like the one. I was a little sad the crossguard didn't get used for the crossguard's sake, where someone hits it and he knocks it down like that.
It just uses the I'm
Burn his
stabbing
shoulder,
you in
yeah.
the
Now
shoulder.
I'm gonna turn it. I don't know. Do you guys have anything else to say to this? Because I can segue this into theories really easy.
You can feel free to
Segue
segue.
away.
The way Kylo Ren is at the end of this movie makes me wonder if he's gonna go cyborg crazy to be more like Darth Vader.
Well, I thought he lost a limb at first, and I thought, well, he's going cyborg, and then he didn't lose any limbs, but he might still. What if he cut his own limbs off?
That's what I'm saying. He's gonna have something, and he's probably gonna wear the mask a lot more in the next one because he's horribly disfigured now. I'm wondering if he's gonna start to go cyborg crazy to be more like Vader, to think that's his way to be Vader, and I think that's kind of cool to think about. Postulation, dear Disney, watch this video. Take our ideas.
This
Don't
is
worry
not the
about it.
first time that Disney should have taken our ideas.
No, and it won't be the last.
No.
So what theories do you guys want to hit? What ones?
Ray, you want to talk
Rey?
on her?
Okay, so place your bets, place your bets, place your bets. Is she?
I know what they want us to think.
Is she a Solo? Is she a Skywalker? Is she a Kenobi? Who is she?
They want us to think she's a Skywalker.
I think that's dumb.
See, and I think
Really?
it's dumb because I think if that's what they're going for, I think it's going to be a bait and switch.
Yeah.
But I don't think she's a Solo either.
I want her to be a Solo, but I don't know.
I just find it hard to reconcile because I can't imagine Han ever. They talk about their son the entire movie, and they don't once go, "Oh, and our daughter."
There are elements that make me think it adds up to it. Our buddy Chris Miller, who was on one of the podcasts, talked about maybe the idea of Luke Skywalker removing people's memories with the Force to
That'd be kinda
protect her. Even going so far as removing it from Kylo Ren, since he doesn't react to her, only because that adds to this is like Han Solo kept looking at her weird. Han Solo
Yeah.
offers her a job. What? And he
And when
takes her- he takes her to the lightsaber specifically for the lightsaber. It's not written out that way, but why else did they go to that planet with what's her face in the bar? Why? There's no
when she
reason at all.
says, "I didn't know there was ever this much green in the galaxy," he gives her this look of almost like guilt,
Yeah.
like I'm the reason that happened, and if she's not his daughter, at the very least he knows who she is.
Right.
Like he didn't want to talk to her about it, and even like there's that cutaway where Maz the Kanata is like, "Who's the girl?" and then it cuts away.
Yeah.
Like that means something.
Yeah.
Like Han knows who she is.
And I don't want her to be Skywalker's kid just because
It's a little cheap.
It's a little cheap. That's all.
I don't want a moment of "I am your cousin" in the next one. I
No.
don't want it.
The other thing I'll have it, no, we can talk, is that our buddy Michael Knight, who's been on a couple of times, said he really wants her to be nobody. He wants her to find her parents and be like, "You left me there, but look at my life now. Look at what I did without you. You could have been involved, but not anymore." And I'm like, I like that too. I mean, I guess really as long as she's not Skywalker's. That's all. I'm actually okay with the idea of a Kenobi.
Did you read that Ewan McGregor?
Meh.
Right?
Yeah.
Ewan McGregor was in it. His voice in that little Force flashback thingy that she
And
had
Frank
in the
Oz.
bar. Frank Oz did a voice. They brought Ewan McGregor in to do it. He did a line, and they actually took Alec Guinness's one of his lines
Afraid?
from. Yeah, they
Afraid.
took "Afraid" and they cut that out and made it sound like he was saying "Ray." So there was a part where you hear like very prominently during her like Force flashback. It's like right when the snow bit happens.
Force fever dream.
You hear exactly Force Fever Dream, and you hear Ray, and that's Alec Guinness's voice and Ewan McGregor's voice both. So it's
Wow.
Obi-Wan, and then you hear Ewan McGregor say, "These are your first steps."
Okay, I didn't know that was him. Oh, I can't wait to.
That was That was Ewan McGregor.
Okay, cool.
Which must mean something.
Well,
Unless it's just like...
You don't know what it is. She's kind of like, she's seeing things from Skywalker's point of view, from the Knights of Ren. So I don't know. Also, fun fact that Chris Miller also pointed out that everyone's going, well, she has so much force potential, therefore she has to be a Skywalker. And he goes, you realize you're supporting midichlorians, right? Microscopic things in your blood pass down.
The other thing is she's a naturally talented pilot, just like Luke and Anakin.
Mm-hmm. Well, one theory said that she's literally Anakin Skywalker reborn, and I want to punch that person in the teeth.
Like a reincarnation kind of thing?
Yeah.
Guys, look at her face on a close-up, a close-up. She looks like the female version of the kid who played Anakin Skywalker in Phantom Menace.
Speaking
No,
of...
before him.
like the actual guy.
They look alike. She looks like if he was a girl and grew up.
Is that... Wait, has anyone checked? Has anyone checked if that's her?
Hold on. Are you telling me that Anakin Skywalker from A Phantom Menace didn't grow up to Hayden Christensen and then instead traveled through time, ended up on Jakku, and became a lady?
I'd buy it.
Fuck it. Yeah, I'm for it.
Let's
see that movie.
Headcanon accepted so hard. Disney.
Let's see that movie.
The other theory I've read is that she's was basically a Padawan at the Jedi Academy before Kylo Ren.
I've read that she was some random Jedi, and maybe she turned out to be a descendant of, like, I don't know, Ki-Adi Mundi or some shit. But
how did that even happen?
Okay. Good reference to random council member.
Yep.
Was that
He's the only one whose name he's the big old bald guy with the white coming down his head, and he's got a beard, and he doesn't ever do anything of use for this to anybody.
Except die on a bridge.
Die on a planet.
What other theories we got?
I heard a theory that Finn is the child of Lando, and I was like, because they're both black. There's no other, and his Mace, his grandfather. Like,
did you hear that? There's people want him to have a relationship with Poe.
like a romantic.
Fair enough.
There's a scene where it's where and it's in the trailers where they walk past each other from the X-wing, and they both give him the what's up
on his shoulder,
and they go what's up, and except there's things that's like, sup bro, hey bro, we're bros now, right? Yeah bro. You tell the whole world, bro. Whisper, bro, you're my bro. Why are you whispering, bro? Because you're my world, bro.
Poe and Finn gonna fuck, and they're gonna, there's gonna be a scene where Finn goes, "I love you," and Poe's gonna go, "I know."
Just remember, Poe's call sign is Black Leader.
Disney, if you're watching up to this point, stop watching. You've taken what you need from this. There's nothing good that can come from this.
We're good. Let's switch topics real quick.
Snoke. You want to talk Snoke?
I don't know. Obi-Wan to say
Yeah,
something.
we were talking about Snoke.
Snoke. Who
the fuck is Snoke?
Well, I love Han knows who he is.
Somehow.
People know who he is. Is he not hiding in the shadows? I thought the reveal that he was a big old hologram was kind of cool, because that's what
yeah.
used to do.
I was very happy with that, because I'm like, they didn't introduce a fucking giant into this.
Yeah.
He's just going to step on Luke Skywalker.
Also rather interesting that he looks like Grendel from the CG.
He looks like Grendel, and he looks like Gollum, which is he's played by Gollum, but still.
And Andy Serkis does a great job.
Andy Serkis is good in everything.
I'll be interested if he's. My wife is like, I wonder if he's going to be really small.
I hope he is.
And I'm like, is he compensating for something? Don't
I think he is. And just like his fucking apprentice is compensating for his ugly ass face.
I mean, we don't know who he is. We don't even know if that's what he looks like.
Right.
Which
we don't get a great look at him, I guess.
Okay.
His face is all fucked on the one side.
Birch, you're saying Plagueis, yeah?
I say Plagueis. I know. I'd like to think it's Plagueis. My friend who saw it with me, he suggested that it's the Emperor crawled out of the shaft that Vader threw him into, and his face was all fucked up, and he's the Emperor.
LB, your thoughts?
So, go expand the universe route and say he's a clone of the Emperor. I'm liking this Darth Plagueis idea, because generally we're told there's only 2 Sith, and so for there to have been a Sidious and a Vader, that means Plagueis would have to have been dead, right? But
Well,
he was also supposedly the one who discovered the secret to immortality.
yeah, and this is where an interesting thing comes up. When I was talking to Chris Miller again, he goes, "What I'd like to know is if he has the power of possession, where he can take over somebody's body, and he's been living through that." And I'm like, "That's interesting because in the
He's Captain Ginyu.
yes, he's Captain America. Except not purple and horny. Chi-Chi's gonna hate this. Shit, where was I? Oh, because in the expanded universe that wasn't wiped out, anything like pre-4, I think, is still canon. Plagueis is, I don't even know what the hell the species called, but it's the fucking Frankenberry-looking motherfuckers. In Attack of the Clones, like the Federation's meeting, and they're like all signing, and there's this one guy who literally looks like Frankenberry. He's standing there going, "We'll sign your Federation bill," and that's all it is. And I'm like, that's the worst fucking design I've ever seen in my life. He's apparently that race, and I'm like,
Oh, okay.
really?
I'm looking it up right now. He was Moon. M-U-U-N.
Yes.
Terrible.
Moon.
That's 2 U's or 1?
M-U-U.
2 U's. 2 U's.
Yeah.
M-U-U-N.
So dumb.
Yeah,
So
them. Yeah, that kind of looks like what
Except
what he looked like.
Snoke looked more humanistic.
A little.
His head wasn't so Frankenberry. Okay?
Snoke.
He had a nose, too. I don't know. I'm for Plagueis. I'm for Emperor Clone gone bad. Because they do bring up the idea of the ability to clone again. In like one of the throwaway scenes, Ren says to General, what's his face?
Maybe we should have used a clone. Yeah.
So I'm wondering if it's a Pelpy clone, a failed Pelpy clone.
Happy clone.
And because I don't think we talked about it yet, how they've seemed to pick and choose things from the extended universe that's gone now, and I like that a lot. The idea of trying to rebuild the Academy, a Solo going to the dark side. I mean, there's no twins, which I'm hoping Rey is a twin, because that's just my old fanboy holding on to pipe dreams. Kyle-Katarn, please show up in the next movie.
Rogue One.
Rogue One. Who steals the Death Star plans? Kyle-Katarn steals the Death Star plans. He just needs a briar pistol, an attitude, and a lot of dead bodies behind him.
I would have cast Oscar Isaac as Kyle-Katarn. I'd be alright with that.
Yeah, after seeing him in this, yes, please.
I was like, alright, I'm alright with that.
Poe's like that. It's not my real name. My real name's Kyle-Katarn, and I'm a Jedi, motherfucker.
Yeah, they don't always call me Poe.
So
Don't
some
call me
people call me Kyle-Katarn.
Kyle-Katarn.
And all of a sudden, BB-8 shoots out a lightsaber. He grabs it. And he starts beating the shit out of Kylo Ren.
I've heard the theory that BB-8 is filled with the remains of Emperor Palpatine.
I heard that
What?
Emperor Palpatine is just 3 Ewoks standing on a trench coat.
I hope Snoke is just 3 Ewoks standing in a trench coat.
That'd be the best thing in the world. Okay. This isn't much of a theory, but more of a hope. Anybody else hoping with how Rey is attached to her staff that we're actually gonna get a double-sided lightsaber that's not red?
That'd be cool.
That'd be so. I would love to see a blue one. And she's more proficient with the staff. I'm just saying.
Yeah, she kicks some ass with that thing.
Okay, I think we're done.
I think so.
We
We've
like
touched
the
on
movie.
just about everything. May 26, 2017. Cannot come fast enough.
Wow, that's not
I
too
say
far.
skip Rogue One. I don't want to see it. I want to see episode.
I don't
8
give a shit about Rogue One.
What's Rogue
I
One?
know
Is
what
that a
happened.
movie?
Yeah, Rogue One comes out next year, this time next year. And it's about how they stole the Death Star plans.
LB, you know how they stole the Death Star plans. You played
Yeah,
Dark
I
Forces.
did it when I was Kyle-Katarn.
I did it myself.
I did it myself. I shot a bunch of stormtroopers, stole the plans, and said, "Get the fuck out of here."
Bill,
Alright.
you look Kyle-Katarn.
I would love to cosplay Kyle-Katarn. I just gotta lose about 25 pounds of
Nah.
fat and add 30 pounds of muscle.
Not if you're Kyle-Katarn in the first game.
Oh god, yeah. Oh.
You have to gain weight for that one.
Yeah, and then I gotta buy an Obi-Wan lightsaber because I prefer the blue one. Because Jedi Outcast is the shit. Jedi Academy is terrible.
I stopped playing it.
Dark Forces 2.
Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight is the best. Outcast has better graphics and gameplay, but the story isn't as good as...
What if Darth Plagueis is Jarek?
Then the ravioli guy better come back. Well, he has it right here. Yes. Okay, listen, if they're doing the anthology shit, they need to make like just an offshoot of the Dark Forces games.
They haven't announced what the third one is yet.
Dark Forces, Jedi Knight, and Jedi Outcast. That's all you need. Those would be the 3 best goddamn films you ever need.
Mm-hmm.
And get the ravioli guy to come back. Real quick, let's do a little scheduling for what this year is, because nobody watches this anyways. We're pretty much going to chill for the rest of this year, the 2 weeks that's left. We're going to enjoy our holidays. You enjoy your holidays.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas, New Year's, all that stuff. We're going to find a time probably early next year to do our Doctor Who off. And then we're going to do a podcast in January. That's probably going to have our picks for 2015, like best movies we saw, best games we played, worst games we played, worst song, best song, the usual BS, plus some other stuff. And then hopefully in January we'll start streaming. I know Birch got a PS4, so he'll be joining us for Super Rocket Power League. And maybe not January, maybe February we'll start our MS painting with Bob Ross or board game night.
That'd be fun.
Just because I don't want to throw too much at us at the start of the year. Okay. You guys have anything else to say?
No.
Star Wars.
Star Wars. Nothing but Star Wars. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night,
May
everybody.
the Force be with you.
We're playing out.
So, guys, I got bad news.
Uh-oh.
In January, I'm going to be going back to working mornings.